everyone, my name is Crystal McCreary and I am a yoga and mindfulness teacher and a health and wellness educator here in the city. And I'm here starting this is my first video, and I hope to offer some tools for families, for children, for parents, to get a moment to take time in. And I say time in because many years ago when I started teaching as a yoga specialist in a school, because of a mentor of mine who called it this, started to talk about, instead of time out, giving kids time out, giving them time in, right? A moment to find contentment with themselves. And these are times that I think we can all really start to benefit from looking within for answers to challenging questions like, how am I going to be patient? How am I going to remain anxiety free? What tools do I have to support myself to be well so that I can, like putting my own oxygen mask on first, do that in order to support the well-being of my loved ones. So today we're going to do a breathing practice. It's a mindful breathing practice, and really it's called anchor breathing. You know, it's what I call it. It's what many people might call it, but really it's a simple practice of breathing in a way to support us to literally use our breath as an anchor, right? Life is filled with storms, as we all have experienced, and we happen to be in the midst of a really big one now. But the really beautiful thing about storms is that they don't come to stay, they come to pass. So how we behave in the midst of the storm can determine what our life and our experience is once the storm has passed. If we can sustain the storm and not let it change us, then we have practiced resilience, right? We have used our own inherent capacities and external capacities, right? The resources of our families and friends and our communities to ride it out. And so this is a practice that can be used every day, multiple times a day, called anchor breathing. So first things first, find a comfortable tall seat, okay? So sit in a way that's tall and alert, but also not stiff, right? You should feel comfortable, right? And as you sit, right, just notice if your tendency is to want to, or your habit, right, would be to kind of come back and round the spine into a C curve. And note that when you're in this kind of a curved shape, it's really hard to take a full deep breath, right? Similarly, if you sit up super tall or in a stiff way, right, it's hard to take full breaths that way too. So sit tall, but not too stiff and not too soft. And then gently take one hand to your belly. And with your hand on your belly for the first few moments, just take a couple rounds of breath, right? A couple cycles of breath. And as you breathe, pay close attention to what's happening underneath your hand. Great. Now take your hand and put it on your heart. And same thing. Take a few cycles of breath and just observe any movement happening underneath your hand as it rests on your heart. Great, now take your hand and just put it right in front of your nose. And take a few cycles of breath with your hand right in front of your nose. And notice what you feel. Good. And now decide for yourself, right, which one of those places, your belly, your heart, or your nose, right, which one of those places you could really sense the movement of breath the most clearly and most comfortably. So it could be on your belly, it could be on your heart, it could be in front of your nose, right? For me, it's my belly. I always feel my breath most clearly and fully when I have my hand on my belly. Good, now I'm gonna invite you to close your eyes. And if closing your eyes is not possible, or if it's uncomfortable, feel free to keep your chin lifted, your head lifted, but just gently cast your gaze down, right? So that you're not taking in a lot of the stimulus in the room, so that your attention can really focus on just this simple practice of breathing. And the spot that you chose, we're going to call it your anchor spot. Okay? So for the next 2 minutes, we're just going to sit and breathe right into that anchor spot. And the invitation, although my eyes are open, the invitation for you is to really close your eyes so that you can sense it in the most clear way from the inside out. That quiet, calm, repetitive, wave-like motion of breathing right into your anchor spot. Now, at some point, your attention will wander to the sounds in the next room, or they'll wander towards what's gonna be for dinner tonight. So when you get distracted and when your attention wanders away, just very gently lift your hand off of your anchor spot, almost like you're signifying, right? Like, hey, oop, I got distracted. And then re-anchor your hand on that spot. And continue breathing. And see if you can watch your breath. Really watch it from the beginning of your inhale to the end of your exhale. And it's okay if you get distracted. Just make that little gesture with your hand, wave it in the air, and then re-anchor your attention. Just continually re-anchoring the hand back to your anchor spot. So gently open your eyes if they're not already open. And take a moment to just note what shifted in you. Just note what happened for you as a result of just sitting and noting your breath for about 2 minutes. So you might have noticed that you got distracted. And if you did, great. That means you're human, right? Our minds are thought-making machines. They get caught up in distraction. That's part of being human. And when there's a lot in our environment that is distracting us, and particularly when there are things that are anxiety producing, and they create a lot of fear because we don't know, there's a lot of question marks and we don't know, right? We can literally get so caught up in these distractions that they change our emotional state. And so if you got distracted, that just means you're human, right? Your senses are doing what they were designed to do. The beautiful thing about a mindfulness practice is that it teaches us that even though, right, our bodies are hardwired to get caught up in the environment around us, that we actually can support ourselves to stay focused on what's really important by training our mind, right? So what you just got to experience was training your mind to continually come back to ground, right? To come back to a stable, repetitive, in this case, action of breathing, which is happening all the time. And in the same way, an anchor on a boat, right, can support a boat to continually come back to this sense of stability, right? That anchor does not protect the boat from feeling the waves. It doesn't protect the boat from having to deal with the reality of a storm. It does continually remind that boat that it's gonna be okay, that it's possible to ride it out skillfully. So as your day goes on today, when you notice, you're getting caught up in anxiety, you're getting caught up in distraction, and you're getting caught up in all the things that you have less control over than usual, the invitation is to pause and connect with this powerful tool, the most powerful tool that we have within us, which is our breath, to come back to that sense of stability. Thank you so much. I hope to see you again soon. Have a wonderful evening.